Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
And we're going to do something different today. Our last videos have been very lovey-dovey, very cutesy. And in marriage, it's not always that way. So I was thinking the topics we can talk about
on Valentine's
Day is, there's 3. So our main struggles in our marriage have been 1, communication. 2 would be a healthy sex life. And 3 would be our spiritual life, walk with God.
Spiritual walk.
So, yeah, if you want to hang around.
Strap in for this interesting little deep cut into our raw. Oh gosh, sexual innuendos. Thanks for that, Miss Jamie.
Parental advisory.
Yeah, parental advisory. We'll just pop it right here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna do that today, and hopefully you guys enjoy this episode.
We're keeping it real on Valentine's Day.
On Valentine's Day, yeah. Leave a like. I wish it was a heart for Valentine's Day, but it's a like. Leave a comment. Tell us what you think about this. If you have struggles, and if you have any questions too. Like, we are kind of starting this series out to kind of open the floor up to you guys too. And if you guys have questions about relationship things,
or if you want us to talk about relationship things, we are an open book. But
let me preface this by saying we are not like medical experts. We're not like we don't have a book out. We don't have we're not experts in any way. This is just all pure experience and inexperience from our end, and we're willing to help out and share stories from us too.
Yeah.
So let's
get started. Communication number 1. So, number 1 is communication. We both struggle in that area, I think, more so. But so when we argue or we have a discussion, I spew out 30 different things because I'm a woman and I'm scattered and I have all of these thoughts in my head. So when I say those things to Caleb, he just doesn't respond at all. He shuts down, and I don't know if it's because I'm triggering something in him. We both struggle with anxiety, and I think we both trigger each other in that. So I don't know.
Yeah, whenever we have an argument or a discussion or something, I find it hard to come up with a valid reason why I'm not, communicating or I feel a certain way. I've always been that way. I just when I'm kind of up against the wall, I would rather just fix it right then and there, or kind of just shut down and wait for it to kind of blow over, which I don't recommend for any guy out there to do that to their wife or significant other or whoever you guys may be. No judgment here. But I would like to be able to communicate and talk, and I'm trying to build those skills up now. After how many years of marriage?
7 years.
7 years of
and
marriage.
And then together 9.
Yeah, and I am slow to the whole game of communicating, and I know that it's been a struggle, and that'll lead into our next subject as well. But I find it hard to find words. I think I've always been that way. I mean, you could probably talk to my parents too. Like, whenever they would discuss something with me or yell at me about my grades or something, I would kind of just sit there and take it. I never would really give back to the conversation. And I'm learning now, years later, that maybe I should have learned how to communicate back then. So that I can communicate with Jamie, because I know that all she wants is for me to feel the same way, or to at least
feel at all.
Talk back. Yeah, because I'll just look like I don't care, but I do. I just can't find the words to kind of back me up in a way that doesn't make me look like a complete douchebag.
But I think I approach him sometimes in an attacking way, and I think a lot of the time he doesn't want to hurt me.
Yeah, no.
With his words, because we have gotten to that point where we've said things and then we cannot take those things back.
Yeah.
We're both guilty of that. So what we're trying to do to fix it is listen when the other person is talking and then try to respond in a healthy way, because I think both of us have something to say, and what we have to say is so important So we just need to be better at that.
Right, yeah. And I it's something that'll help a lot of people out too, is if you want to discuss something, approach it with tact
And kindness.
and kindness. Don't just go in screaming and yelling, because then you'll never get anything done, because then you're both going to start yelling and screaming, and we're guilty of that. If you get anything from this, try to assess a situation in your marriage. Again, I'm not an expert. Where you both are calm and collect, and you don't exactly, you can show emotion obviously, but don't lead with especially anger. Talk. I mean, you both are in a relationship together, and you're both in it to win it. So it's like you're both at the end of the day gonna lay down in the same bed and fall asleep, and and if you have a bad discussion and you both said things that you don't, that you regret and that you wish you could take back, you can't take it back.
I was gonna say something I learned at, maybe it was my bridal shower. One of the elderly ladies wrote down a tip, and it said, seriously, never go to bed angry. And then if you are angry, if there's a way that you can touch, maybe it's your feet, maybe it's just like, you can still be angry, but as long as like you are trying to stay connected, then there's hope in that. So
I think I'm gonna need it.
So the next topic we're going to talk about is I was going to say just sex. No, a healthy sex life.
Or at least our experience of not having one.
Yeah, we didn't have one for a long time.
So you can lead that off.
I don't know. I can't explain it, but so I grew up in church, and when you're not married, they, never have sex before marriage, never have sex before marriage, never have sex before marriage. So all of a sudden, Caleb and I, we didn't wait. No. You should wait. We didn't.
But we were in love. That's no excuse, really.
No. So we didn't wait, and so once we got married, it was like, okay, you can have sex now. Have all the sex you want. It's okay.
Go wild.
Yeah, go wild. So that transition was really hard for me, and also I struggled with being very, very, very stressed. I had some medical issues health-wise, and that was the last thing on my mind, was to have sex with Caleb. So I don't know, how did it make you feel when you would try and I would just shut you down?
As a man, we are programmed to be more physical than emotional, and that goes with the communication too. I know that me communicating with her poorly didn't help at all.
No, especially when we would argue or have a discussion and say it got heated, or say he was mean to me, or would say things, because I would take it to heart, and I couldn't, not that I couldn't let it go, but those things were kind of engraved in me. So if he called me a name, or yelled, or if he was angry, or if he was sad and depressed, I would take that on as my own. So wanting to have sex just wasn't
in the books.
No, I didn't want to have sex with him. No, with guys it's so easy, they can be turned on like this, but a woman, me, I just couldn't flip off that we just had a big argument and then come to bed and have sex. I just couldn't.
Especially with me not like
communicating
and coming back and saying I'm sorry, or I was wrong, or I don't know. It was rough, because I obviously wanted to have sex with her, and I wanted to do those things and be connected in that level, which I had never really had that connection before. So to have it just go away like that, it was rough. You kind of feel less of a man if you're not,
And in my head, I wasn't thinking that he would be thinking those things. I wasn't thinking like,
because I didn't communicate.
No, not at all. So I was going to ask you, since we didn't have a healthy sex life, did you ever want to cheat on me?
I don't think I ever wanted to cheat. I'm not really programmed that way. When I'm in a relationship, I'm in it for better or for worse. Now, I can't say that I didn't, check out other girls, or just kind of be like, oh man, why can't she have sex with me or something? As a guy, that's just something that you kind of think about sometimes, especially when the relationship is so rough.
Right.
And we did go through a really rough patch through that whole segment of our marriage.
Right.
But I never did. I never wanted to look at porn or go, because I just wanted her. I didn't want anybody else, because I was in this relationship. I wanted to be committed.
Right.
And I wasn't going to go down that road. I've seen so many relationships end and fail because one side did something that they shouldn't have. And I saw it from other people in my life, but my parents, they worked through all their issues, and they're stronger than ever now.
Right.
So I didn't want to also let them down in that way of like, oh, well, I cheated on Jamie, so now I guess I'm moving back to Oregon or something, because I couldn't live with myself if I did that.
Was your anger and your sadness and depression because I wasn't physically doing that with you?
I struggle with thoughts of suicide, and I knew that deep down inside there was something wrong with me too, not opening up with Jamie. I had thoughts of just like, you know what, she's probably better off without me. She probably doesn't want me anymore at all.
And I think what he didn't know about me as well is I struggle with those same thoughts. So in our relationship, I've always been probably the positive one, the encourager. Wow. I would carry a lot of what is going on in our relationship. So that's where a lot of the anxiety and depression came on my end. And I had, thoughts of suicide, and I didn't want to live. But I couldn't say that to him because I knew he was struggling just as much as I was, but I was the strong one. Yeah, so we've been trying to connect more. Because we do want a family, and obviously you have to do that to have a family, but we have realized that we just need to make more of an effort. And I recently have started taking Prozac, which has helped me a lot, more so anxiety, so I'm not as tense. I actually can sleep at night. I wasn't sleeping.
Yeah.
I would wake up just crying because I'm just like, Caleb, I can't sleep. So we've made steps towards working on that together.
Definitely.
And
we definitely have improved. And the communication comes into play too. I feel like we kind of are more open to discussion and stuff.
And I think one of the big things that we need to work on is making that person feel special.
Yeah.
Because when you don't feel special, if you feel like you're the reason everything is going wrong, because I'm that person. If something's going wrong in his life, then I automatically think, well, it's my fault. I need to fix this. And if he's unhappy with things in his life, then I automatically think he's unhappy with me. And that's not the case.
No.
That's just not the case. So I just feel like you need to take time to make that person feel special, because it'll take one time for someone else outside of your marriage to make you feel special, and then you're kind of hooked because you're not getting that in your relationship.
Yeah.
And, we've gone through that. We won't go into detail, but we've gone through where someone has tried to give us or me what I was lacking in our relationship, and I enjoyed that because, we weren't communicating.
Right.
At all. Caleb was very sad and depressed and didn't want to live, and there was nothing I could do to fix that. I'd tried everything talking, but we weren't talking. So I think we're trying now. We're very healthy now.
And again, if you get anything from this, we're not trying to say like sex is like everything. The most important thing or everything a relationship needs to survive, but it's definitely one of those things that keeps you guys connected in a physical level and emotional level.
Right.
And it's pretty important. So for our third and final subject for this video, it's about our spiritual life and the strength that we had from it, and then us pretty much, I wouldn't say walking away from it, but we
did.
There was a time in our marriage where we were going to church a lot. It was like we were pretty committed, and we enjoyed it. Church is very, very key, very key part of a healthy relationship. I mean, a relationship with God. And I always had the mentality that you didn't always need to go to church for that, but there is moments when you need to go to church to recharge those, I don't know, spirits or something. Like, church is very important. And we're not saying that if you don't go to church, you're never going to have a healthy relationship. But
for us,
we were
important.
Committed to something that was greater than us. And having God in our relationship at the beginning wasn't exactly helping or hurting our relationship. It was kind of just something where we could go and kind of recoup from our problems as a couple and come back a little bit stronger. But then when we kind of walked away from it, it was kind of like we had to kind of restart.
Right, and figure it out on our own.
Which is not healthy, because you need that kind of guidance from the Bible or from other people who have been in a relationship longer. I mean, you can go to church and find people that have been married for like 50 years or so, and they can really help you out with marital issues. And there's also counseling options at churches from pastors or just those couples that have been married for a long time that are willing to talk to you about it. My issues with God is more or less why isn't he helping me? Or I feel like he's kind of testing me all the time, and I still don't know if that's like really true in a way that would hurt me. I feel like a lot of the issues I have are him more or less trying to teach me that you can rely on him for guidance and being able to communicate and show love the way he shows love and did show love. So for me, church wasn't really important, but as I grow older, it's like, where am I going to find those answers other than in the Bible or with people who have experienced this? And I think church is now a valuable thing, even though we haven't really committed at going back. Real talk. We do plan on going back and trying to grow us individually. It's always been a struggle for me to rely on something that I can't see or hear, because I don't feel like I've ever really heard God, and that's like legit real. Like I don't know if I've ever really felt him in that sense. There are times when I have, and I liked it. I liked those moments of kind of purity where he would talk to me or make me feel good. And church is definitely one of those things that you need to go to for that kind of guidance, if that's what you're looking for.
I feel like I've always kind of have known my calling with God and in the church, so I've never struggled with that like Caleb. I've heard God. Now it's not been like his audible voice, but
that's what I expect sometimes. Like I want to hear that audible voice telling me, "Hey, wake up, you a-hole."
No, it's
not that he would say that.
No. But I mean, with what I experience with my relationship with God is living inside of you, and anything that is good and kind and wanting to do an act of kindness or wanting to do good, obviously that's of God. So when I get a feeling to buy someone flowers and to encourage them, obviously that's God, because God is living inside of you. So I've tried to explain to Caleb, like, it's not me just, like, hearing God say, like, go get someone flowers. No, it's just God living inside of me. I know. Living inside of me. And, I don't know. I've never had that struggle like Caleb.
Right.
So I'm not sure. I've never been able to understand where Caleb is coming from when it comes to that. I've always just, whatever God has wanted me to do, I just do it. And I think that's kind of been a struggle in our marriage because God would be like, okay, give that person $100. And of course, Caleb and I were married, so my $100 is his $100. So,
and vice versa.
I think, how do you feel when I'm just like, let's give $100 or let's give?
I am kind of the person that's like, well, do they deserve it? Jamie doesn't think that way. I don't know why I tend to go that route where I judge people based on their worth to me. So when I do give someone something, it's kind of, when I'm the one that comes up with, hey, we need to go do this, it's kind of different than when she wants to do it in my sense, because sometimes I just feel like, well, they don't deserve it, or but I don't think I've ever not.
No, he's always let me. Whenever I have a feeling of giving $1,000, he's let me do that, which I'm so grateful for. I've given away purses that he's gotten me. I've given away items that have been sentimental to me, but I felt like someone else needed it more than I did. So I've never struggled in that way, and I'm always wanting to give, and I never expect anything in return. I don't think, what can this person do for me by giving this $1,000? I just don't think that.
I do have moments where I don't feel that, and I do give willingly, and I don't always expect people to give me something in return. That's not how I really operate, but I feel like if I can let her do the thing that she needs to do spiritually, maybe that'll rub off on me, because I struggle a lot with feeling like I am saved or that God does love me, when I know that he does, but I just find it hard to believe sometimes, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
Because I struggle with that too, but that never gets in the way of him using me.
Right. We're not trying to like shove God down anybody's throat. We're not. If you don't believe, that's totally fine. You find God in your own way, or we're not here to just be like, oh, you're going to hell or something like that. But I personally have always felt like I am going to hell no matter what. Like,
and I think that makes me so sad, because it's kind of like he already has confirmed his ending. Like he already thinks, okay, well, I'm going to hell. Like, what's the point?
Because I've always felt like a failure throughout my whole life, so I've always, and I still feel this way. This hasn't changed at all. Like, I still feel like I am going to hell, or I am doomed to it because of the things that I've done in the past. I always felt like those things have already damned me, and I still am struggling with that, and I'm hoping that if we do make that dive back into church, that I can turn this around, because I always feel helpless or hopeless, and that's not a really healthy way for anybody to feel. And
because I don't think our marriage has a chance with him feeling
because
I
already feel like a failure already.
Right. And then we already know the ending, and that's not happy or healthy. And the main thing that we'll work on is our relationship with God, not so much church, because I know church, that'll come for us because we belong in church. We know those things. But I think as we develop a relationship with God, it won't be such a chore for us to get up and go, or I don't know, just feeling obligated to go. I think there will be a want to go.
Yeah. Because one of my issues is, like, I always feel like I want to help out in a church, but sometimes I get overwhelmed with just focusing on that and not working on me.
Yeah.
So I know that when we do start going back, I'm definitely going to focus on us or me first before I start diving into other things to help other people. And hopefully this kind of stuff will help us to grow in that way too, with these videos and whatnot. Right. So we're just here to help. We want people to come in, whoever you may be. You might be, black, white, Latino, Asian, gay, straight, Muslim, Catholic. It doesn't matter. We're just being
real.
We want to be real, and we want to express everything from a real sense and
from our heart.
Yeah, and if we look cookie cutter on like social media,
we're not.
There's
a filter.
And social media is a life filter. You're not going to see the real stuff.
Right.
And
we want you to see the real.
We want you guys to see us for who we are and where we come from. And
we're not perfect.
We're not perfect.
And our relationship
No one's
isn't
perfect. And I feel like that's a big struggle and a big hit on the church is a lot of people may look like they're perfect or that they don't have issues, but they do. And maybe they don't express them, but I want to express it because I know that there are people out there that might be able to learn from my experience. Right. And that's the biggest thing, and hopefully that'll help me with God too. I mean, I still struggle with it, so I want to be able to learn and then help you guys learn off of the back of me. I'll pick up my cross and you guys can follow me through this journey.
Yeah.
And we'll document it. How about that? We'll document my recovery because I admit that I'm wrong and I admit that I have struggles and I admit that I've shaken my fist at God and said, why me, on a daily basis, even recently.
Right. And I'm not perfect either, and I have a ton
You're
of
perfect
flaws.
to me.
A ton of flaws, and I'm broken and I need healing just as much as Caleb does. We're just a little different.
Yeah. So come as you are. We're here. We're here as friends, and that's the greatest thing about this YouTube thing too. Is like you can leave a comment, you can email us. Mm-hmm. I can leave my Gmail somewhere for you guys to contact us and ask us questions. We don't have to make a video about it or anything. We can just kind of talk and help. And I just want people to grow and help each other. And this is the first time that I've been kind of, in a way, selfless, and I want to help because I know where I need help. And if we can all just work together, if we worked more together instead of fought, it would help out so much more.
Right.
I feel like nowadays, today's climate and politics and just everything, people are out there just wanting to fight. And why don't I want us to fight for each other as a community, as a humanity. I want us to fight for each other and not fight against each other because we're all in it at the end of the day.
Right.
We're all going to die and we're all going to go somewhere, and we need to find that peace in our lives.
Right.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're going to close it here.
And I feel like Jesus at the center.
So leave a like, leave a comment if you guys want to see more of this. If you guys want to add to the discussions too, leave questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, and ideas, as the great Colin Moriarty would say in his podcasts all the time. We want to help, and we need help.
Yeah.
And we are willing to share our journey. And so if you guys want more and you're new, consider subscribing. They won't be always this long. I think this one might be a little bit longer, but we'll try to keep it fun and entertaining as well as serious.
We just wanted to be real this time.
We want to be real, and so we just want you guys to know that we care, and we hope that you guys have a great night, weekend, Valentine's Day. Well, this will probably go out after Valentine's Day. Yeah, Canadian. I hope you guys enjoyed this again, and we'll see you in the next discussion. Real talk.
Bye.
Bye.